Yeah, yeah, sure.
Perfect, man. Okay, here we go. Okay, I close this and yeah. Okay, we are almost live, and that should be awesome. Okay, so let's get things going. Okay, we are live now. That's awesome. So, hey guys, welcome to the third episode of this Let's Talk live stream, and I'm really excited to excited for this particular live stream on startups, because personally startups has been a topic that I also really enjoy to talk about. And I have my friend Deepak with me. He has recently started a startup, Front Bench, and he's the really great guy to be with. I've been with him in college, and we have graduated together, and he has been really hardworking man. And from that time only he was into that. I'm gonna start a startup, and I'm gonna be I need to make some difference in the world. So he's that kind of a person, and I'm really excited to have him on board with us today, so that he can share his ideas with us. So before we get into this question and answer session, let's quickly get to Deepak, and let's ask him to put some of his views. So hey Deepak, just question, you share your ideas with us, that how you came so far, etc. Yeah.
Thank you, Ankit, for inviting me on your show. Hey, everyone. As Ankit said, uh, currently I am working on a edtech startup front bench, where basically we are enabling students to get a job in technology, and we are empowering people to get a job in technology by helping them upskill. So I started this front bench when I was in college, like when we were in final year. And that time, after working for around 7 and 8 months, we could not move ahead on this idea because we could not find the product market fit that time, and we decided to close it. Then after that, I joined a few companies. I worked as a freelancers. I worked in 2 3 startups as a software developers, and even I am currently working in a company, 91 Wheels, where I am looking in the software development. But parallelly, I am also working in helping student upskill in technology and get a job. So yeah, thank you, Ankit, for inviting me on the show.
Yeah, that's great, Deepak. And like Deepak, जैसे तुम इतनी सारी चीजें कर रहे हो ना, मतलब working in a company also, startup भी, and मैंने सारे कई sessions भी attend किए हैं जो तुम organize करते हो for teaching students. So कैसे मतलब क्या, how you manage all this ना, company भी चल रही है, because I'm personally working with TCS, and I'm tired, इस job में ही I'm tired. How are you managing कि startup भी चल रहा है, and मैं company में job भी कर रहा हूँ, लोगों को पढ़ा भी रहा हूँ. How is that going on?
I think, man, it's very simple. Like if you see all the startups previously in the previously you have seen any successful company, it's not like they or the any founder you see that they are not just that they will quit their job and it's become a founder. It's not like that. If you are working towards some idea, you have to validate it, that whatever it is. So I think it's more like that. You have to find an idea, work toward it. Like even if you're working in 9 to 5 job, then after that, like 5 to 9, it's something called as hustling. That 5 to 9 you're working on your own ideas in your own thing and building something you like. So I think that's what drive me to do something. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's really great. So guys, one thing we should learn from Deepak, that those hours that we spend watching movies, TV, and etc., can be used for doing doing following our dreams, because many of us always feel that we are busy, we are working, and our dreams are just are in the trash can, and we cannot do anything with them. So come on, guys, learn from him and see how he's managing all this. So yeah, now we start with the very first question, for our session. So the first question that I have for Deepak is, when is it the right time to start the startup? Like, when should I be sure that that yeah, this is the time I'm gonna start the startup. Like this is that very time. How should I get that idea? So please share your views on it, Deepak.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great question, I think. So first thing is that I believe there is no right and wrong time. Even if you're in college, you can start a startup, or but there are few basically checklists you should follow. For example, if you got an idea, and then you have to first validate it that whether this idea is worth basically the market size of idea is big or not. For example, if you choose an idea that is very small, the market size of that idea is very small, so is it worth pursuing it? Or for example, if you are basically going to an idea and without testing it, and you are quitting your job, so that may not be the suitable time for that. So the first thing would be that first um, you can test your idea, send it to your first 10 customers which you would like, which you think that would suitable, and then try to scale it as possible. Yeah. So
Um,
there is no right and wrong time, but the thing is that if you are in college, you got lot of free time. So in that time, it's really great to do something on your own. For example, if you got any idea, you can invest. You can basically invest your time and uh, research about that thing. And yeah, so before that, and like if you want to learn more about the startup thing, there is a YouTube like startup school called as it's launched by Y Combinator. It's a basically incubator for the earliest companies in US. So you can go there and learn anything about the startups.
that's great. So it means the best time is like there's no such thing as the best time to start a startup, right? It's you have to judge your ideas and you have to see that if it works. Like I'll go to my first 10 customers and say okay, how they feel. I take feedback from them and how they feel about the idea, right? And
Correct, correct, correct,
and college is the best
correct.
time. So guys, if you are listening, man, those who are in college, like we have also recently graduated, so use your college time well, and that can be really great for you. So because you really have a lot of time there, definitely. So yeah, definitely that's good. And even you know why Combinatorics is a good channel. You should check that out, and that should be good. So yeah, let's go to the next question. That is that when one should think he's ready to go for it, like this is pretty much same as when I should start a startup, but then like you are personally driving, doing so many things, hustling, working in the evening on a startup, in the morning in a job. So when I should know that this is the time that this is the time I should get into it, and I can handle both of it, because sometimes we feel that today I'll to do my job, and then I'll do my startup, and sometimes it can be really hectic. I won't be able to manage, I'll burn out. People, the main concern that we all have है कि यार इतना नहीं होगा, यार इतना नहीं कर सकते, पहली बात तो यही लोग सोच के छोड़ देते हैं कि यार इतना नहीं होना हमसे. So
Correct.
कब अंदर से वो फायर आती है कि अब मुझे करना है, तो कब हम ये चीज़ कर सकते हैं या
Correct. So I think that you should not quit your job right away. As I said in the uh, pa- hello, Ankit, am I audible?
yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Okay, so I said that in the last question, I said that you should not quit your job right away. Like if you want to test that whether the idea is worth pursuing it or not, whether I should go full time or not. So what you can do is that even if you're working in job or if you're in college, like in the free time you can build an MVP. Basically, it's called as minimum viable product. So and you can send it to your first 10 customers, which you think should be suitable, and then you can test it out. Like if it works, if the 10 customers are using, and maybe you find paying customers in that, so then you can try to scale it to 100 customers. So that way I think that's the best approach to scale. Um Again, like if you're not able to find that thing, like because product market fit takes a lot of time, so you have to first find your 10 customers, like validate the idea, validate few customers, check the market size before going in full time.
Yeah, that's great. So, the main thing that comes out is trying and testing. You should test your ideas, see
Exactly,
how good they
exactly.
are, and then you should get into it. So on average, like you I have finally come to front bench and know it's doing really good now. So how many ideas it took you to reach to front bench? Like how many ideas you tried before going for front bench?
Okay, so first at the front bench, like let me tell you how we got this idea and how we got started. Like even we were in the college, you were also working with us. So
Yeah.
like we were working in the communities and we were helping student in learning about new technologies. We are organizing events. So in the final year of the college, I basically created a like sort of blog or curated resources where I thought that let's put everything the students need in just one blog, so that they can get to know that what all the resources they should follow when they were in college. And that thing, like that curated resource, got viral, and it got like 2-3 million views
Oh,
on the
that's
GitHub.
great.
So after that, we converted this thing on a website so that people can visit there and get to know about all the things. Basically, it was we did this thing to provide awareness to the people in the tier 2 and tier 3 institutions, because you know about the condition of these colleges. I think you're well aware of that. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's why we did that. And then after that, we thought like we got enough audience. Like in the first month, we got around 15-20,000 users on the website. So we thought that like this thing is really working well. So how can we provide some end value to the customers, basically the users and the students. So initially, what was happening is that key students were coming on our website and then going to the other website, because it was sort of a resource linking website type. So we thought, why not build something for the students? Then after that, I started exploring the education space and why I should work for in the education space. Like, what is the market size? Like, how can I impact more people? Because in India, you know that the education system seems completely broken. Like, colleges are not doing the things they should supposed to do, and that's why there are a lot of boot camps and the sort of coding camps type of things are emerging in the market. For example, Lambda schools, or in US,
Mm.
where they provide uh, you do a course for them with 6-7 months, and after that free of cost, and after that if you get a job, they will charge you some amount of your salary in exchange of the job. So this thing is supposed to be done by the colleges, but they're not doing that. So and one problem is also that colleges are very expensive. Like if you see MBA or MS educations, uh, so it's very expensive. But what's the output we're getting from this college, these degrees? I'm not sure about this. So yeah, that's the thing, that a lot of edtech players are emerging in the market. And it also need to be, because we need a lot of educational tech companies which can solve the real problem of education in the India.
That's really great. So like I had this question. Like I recently I read some article as well. That said that universities are now obsolete. They what they teach. I hardly we use around 30 or 40% of that. Even Musk, Elon Musk was saying that this there's a tech startup Udacity. I remember, like he said that that teaches
Mhm.
better in some courses they teach better than what most of it. Well, and this is my personal opinion on this, but like what they said, that these courses are better than what you generally get in most of the universities. So what do you observe? Is it a time that like we are switching, like even the COVID is there, and we are like even meeting on online like this. So it is a time that we have to move from physically going to college to online courses, or college still have some significance. Like what do you think? Like I'm going to college, so is it important to go to college, or maybe I can just take some courses like this and that's going to be enough? What's your point on this?
Okay. Okay. So I will not just say completely that you should drop out of the college, whatever you are doing. So just take it as a disclaimer. But right now, in these situations, colleges were meant to be like see that what were colleges meant to be. It were meant to be a social place for where you can learn skills. Like you get to meet a lot of people. You make friends there. You got a community of people doing the same thing. but these things you can find on the internet also these days, and it's very hard to basically yeah, so it's very hard to uh,
Yeah.
curate resources. But yeah, just the thing is that I'm talking about the COVID situation, that everything has gone online. So what colleges is doing is that it's they're just doing the online, like Zoom classes, and all the Zoom classes, like every coding camp and all the things, like in the online courses are also on the Zoom. So what's the difference between all these two things? So my suggestion would be, if someone want to right now in 2021 or 2020 want to go to college, uh, this I think the COVID is going to be for maybe 1 or 2 years, like maybe at the end of this year. So what you can do is that explore things online before going to college. I would not say that uh, do not enroll in that, but before enrolling, like you can take online courses, you can meet people on the LinkedIn and Twitter. The significance, talking about the significance of the college right now, um, it is not it's not very important, because I see a lot of people on the Twitter and LinkedIn, like dropout students, and even with someone who has not joined any college after 12th. They are doing pretty well, like they are sharing projects on the they are sharing what they're learning on LinkedIn, and few freelance
Okay. So
jobs.
hmm,
And
so
yeah,
you support White Hat Junior? You know, they are doing this. You know, they're saying that we'll start teaching small kids as
definitely
well.
not. Definitely not. Like
Okay.
it's good to have coding for kids, but I definitely not support the strategy they're following, and the type of marketing gimmicks they're doing. I'm not against coding for kids, like a lot of company before the White Hat Junior were doing, but uh, I definitely not support the kind of
Okay.
marketing they were doing.
Okay. So that's great. Because like what they show is that your kids gonna start learning coding and they're just gonna start a next big company. So is it that easy to start a company? Like I also know coding. A lot of people know coding. So is it that easy? I know coding. I can start a next company. Like you have experienced it. Like you have seen it on yourself as well. That you have started a company and it took so much time for you. Like you started in college and now finally almost 2 years like since we have graduated from a college and now you are into this. So is it that easy? Like
Okay.
a kid learns and he can get into and start a company. Yeah.
So, building a product is easy. You can say that, like building a product, even if the people do not use, is easy. Building a product which people use, like basically finding a product market fit, where you build something for the market, like build something for the people that can be used, is is tough. But again, building the company is very tough, what I think, because it's just not like that you build the product. There are a lot of variables included in this, like when you try to go full time, or there are a lot of variables included, like in building a company. For example, when you try to sell your product to users, it involves a lot of marketing. Like you have to acquire users, like what's your growth rate, because if you are in a full time working for your startups, you need some growth. Like you don't just need 10 or 15 audience, you need a recurring audience which can use your product. So there are a lot of variables included in this, and definitely I don't think that building in company is easy. It's one of the toughest job um,
Out there,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, like even the great guys, the heavyweights like Musk and Steve, they also said the same. Even there was one interview of Musk going on where he was asked by people like we need more Musk, and he said, really, you want more Musk? And that that was really great thing because because the pain that you go through. His famous line, if I am able to recollect, is starting a startup or company is like eating glasses and staring in abyss, something like that. He said it's quite famous line. So yeah, that's something we all can link to, and maybe Deepak is also facing the same maybe. Okay, so let's get to the next question anyways. That is yeah, what is the biggest misconception that people have about startups? Like startups are quite in demand these days. So what is the biggest misconception that people have in their head? Yeah.
Biggest misconception. Mm, okay, so I remember one. So I think biggest misconception about startup is, according to me, is unique idea. So there is something called as like there is a term in the startup ecosystem that the first mover always gets the advantage. But what I have seen in the past is that first mover may not get the advantage they were getting in the internet days, like 21st centuries. So what happened is that right now, that if you try to build something that works, tens of thousands of people will copy you right away, like, and you can't do anything. You can't do anything with if someone is copying your idea. And so what you have to do to prevent these things, like, you have to be really great at the execution. So it doesn't matter that whether you have a great unique idea or not. So it's just that you have to be very great at execution. So the first misconception is that you don't need a unique idea. You need something, like, even if the 100 people or 10 people wants, you can try to start with that thing and see that whether it's gonna work or not. Like, the Paul Graham of the Y Combinator have said that uh, do things that do not scale. Like, that's the best way to get started in these startups. Because if you try to do things that will scale for thousands, 10,000, uh, in the initials, like from the at the zero phase or -1 phase, if you're in college and if you think that how can I scale my startup to 10,000 people, you will fail, because there are a lot of variables. Like, there are a lot of things, strategies required, from going from 0 to 1, or maybe 0 to 10, and after that, like 0 to 10 customers, or maybe 10 to 100 customers. So there are various strategies required for all these phases. But yeah, unique idea is definitely not it's a misconception. You can start with whatever idea you have. It just need that it should solve the problem of the people. And yeah, second thing is, I would say that you always don't need funds to start startups. For example, it can be small. Your startup can be small, and it does not need to be heavily funded. Like, in the startup news, or on the biggest publications like TechCrunch or the Your Story, we see that the companies raise $1 billion or $500 million, and we see a large, like, very big numbers. So, like, obviously these companies raise these amount, but it's not like that every company needs this type of funds. So if you are starting, don't be afraid that you need funds to get started. You can get started in with little money, like, with little money you can get started. And the biggest example I think these days can be for starting a company without fund is edtech and the media tech companies. Because I think in these companies, like, internet is all about media. Like, you are building content, you are sharing content. So if you keep doing this thing for, let's take an example of the YouTubers. So
Hmm.
YouTubers do not have, like, you don't need uh, $1 million or 10 lakhs for being a YouTuber. You can just
Exactly.
start putting content on YouTube, and soon, if you build a distribution, you can do whatever you want with that distributions. Like, the things can be limited, but yeah, you can do things with that distribution, and you can build a company. Like, I think right now that the YouTubers in India can build great companies because they have very great distribution. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think these are two misconceptions what I think of right now.
Yeah, that's great. Like so yeah, these points are like important. Because most people who just fall short of starting a startup, or if they plan to start a startup, is they feel that how will I get the money. The main thing is I don't have any
Exactly.
lakhs packed
Mm.
in my suitcase. I'm just gonna open and do it. And second is definitely idea is not great. Even from this I remember again Musk is in the picture. Sorry guys, but yeah, he said that like all the patents of Teslas are public. Like he wants others to make cars, and he's not scared that his ideas will be out. He rather feels that I'm moving at a speed that others will be just behind me. That's the idea behind it. That you should move at a pace that others follow, and that's how you do, because there will be one idea and there'll be like many people doing it. So as Deepak suggested, if you have any idea, or even if you saw someone doing something and you like it, then just start doing yourself also. And the challenge will be to beat that guy in doing that, because that's the ultimate
Exactly.
goal, right? Because even Mr. How Apple started, right? At that time, IBM was a big giant, and they just were a small company, and now today they are the biggest company. So I guess this is good. And even for funding aspect, I guess it's true. Even for YouTube things also, you require, people feel that if I want to start a video, I need a lot of setup, etc. But I don't think so. You really need. The main thing is that you should focus on your content and other stuff. So that should work. So yeah, that's really great. Let's move to the next question. Yeah. So the next question is, have you watched the movie Upstarts, and how accurate it is? Like what is your view on that movie? Yeah.
Sorry, repeat again.
Yeah, the movie Upstarts. Have you seen the movie Upstarts? They were like, I guess, three people, three engineers starting a company, and going through all the
No, I
phases.
have
Right?
not seen this movie Upstart, so I think
Yeah. So
I can
okay,
skip this
let's
question.
keep the Upstart away from this. Let's talk about
Okay.
that what are the that roller coaster ride you all go through, right? Like you are in that phase right now. Like you are in that roller coaster ride right now. So can you
Mm-hmm.
share some experience that some days were really great for you, some days are not that great. So how it happens? Yeah. Like you can share some
Okay.
experience like that.
Okay. So roller coaster ride in startups, it's always there till the time like you're struggling to get your ideas to the market, you're struggling to get your first find 10 customers, then you are struggling to get funds. Basically, like even if you're struggling with the finance, I would say that like you need money, but if you don't have, like if you are working full time, um, you don't have any other job. In a full-time job, you are getting paychecks every month, while in startups you have to give your employees some the salary. So that's the problem. uh, there are a lot of struggles, man, I think. Uh, Hello.
Yeah, yeah, I'm listening, man. Yeah.
Yes. So as I said, that finding product market fit, to find to helping your customers, like uh, customer support, or uh, raising funds, all the things, there are all the things are the problem we face as general in startups and
Okay,
building
so
your own
like
company, you can say that.
it is like that if I'm doing a job, I'm feeding myself, and if I'm doing a startup, I'm feeding the whole company, right? That's the role of the
Yes,
the founders in the
obviously,
group,
like,
right?
and the problem is with the bootstrap startup who are running on your own or running without any fund, that you have to fuel yourself, like whether you have to get money from any other source, or you have to get revenue from the product you are building.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's just not like that ki you have enough money to do whatever you want. So uh, in the early days, if you're able to solve the problem of the finance by raising funds, then the most of the problems can be solved. But that's in India, less than 1% of the startups raise funding. So and even in the early days, you have to struggle for a few years before finding your product market fit and raising funds.
That's really great. So, yeah, let's move to the next question that we have, and that is that like when you start talk about starting a startup. So which markets are good for like if I want to do a startup today, in 2020 is ending, like 2021 is coming. So at present, what do you feel? Which markets are really good place to pull our horses in, like should just move towards. So which markets are that that I should look for if I want to do a startup today or in 2021? Yeah.
Okay, which markets? So in the COVID times, in the for this year, let me talk about this. In the COVID times, if you have seen, the educations, like basically the online content in the education market has exploded. Why? Because everything has shut down, and people were forced to go online. Like even it is fintech, like payment transaction system, or education space, everything has been exploded. Because even if you are not adopted, like earlier it was optional to not adopt these things, but right now, like, these were very necessary things. uh, you have to do, like, take an example that earlier the school colleges were not online, but these days, like, even the nursery classes, or not nursery classes, like the class 1 classes are also online. So the education market has really exploded. So I think that's a very it's a very good idea. If you have some idea around solving problem for the education space, you can get started in this. The market is also very big, in the primary space or in the educations, like any segment. If you see, there are a lot of things that need to be done still. Even there are multiple big players, you can do that. Second thing is that uh, in 2020 people are creating a lot of content, and if you see, like, you have started a YouTube channel, so the lot of content creators are emerging. And maybe in thousands of these content creators would like to basically monetize their content. And basically it's like there is something called as creator economy. I was reading about this topic a lot on internet in the past days. So in that, like in the creator economy, what happens is you can build tools around creator economy to help content creators monetize their content, or help them basically create better content, or basically channelizing the whole thing from creating content to monetizing that. If you can help content creators in the process, then it's a very good idea to get started. Then second thing is that um, due to the creators, content creators, everyone is trying to be online, and there are some transaction involved. Like even if you see the edtech space, uh, the teachers need money. Like whoever is creating the content, you need money, and the transactions are involved involved in this. So the fintech space is also very growing very fast. So for my picks would be creator content creator space, education space, and the fintech.
No, that's really awesome. So, okay, let's move to the next question. Yeah, like, oh, before we move to the next question, I got one thing in my mind. So yeah, like, we are moving towards kind of an online, definitely, we are moving online, and our economy is also, online is increasing. Like, even I don't know about like last year, but this year at least, if I talk about just me, 99% of my total transactions were through Paytm, online payment, etc. Like hardly I did any payment with cash. So that's a really big jump. So maybe, yeah. And again, if you talk about online online education, etc., definitely, because I personally have also completed around 3 nano degrees so far. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really great, because I guess people are moving towards this. So yeah, if that looks really promising, maybe in future, who knows, that's how we'll be teaching, interacting. Maybe that could be a great idea. So yeah, let's move to our next question. So yeah, what do you feel about the the startup ecosystem that we have in India? Like at present, what is the situation of that ecosystem, and what do you expect in in next around 3 or 4 years, maybe? What do you think that where it will go in next 3 to 4 years? Yeah.
Okay. Startup ecosystem. So yeah, that's a very interesting question. So basically, in if you know that in 2020 India added 11 unicorn startups
Yeah.
during the pandemic year. So I think it's a very great achievement, and we can see that where the market is going and where the ecosystem is going. Even there is a pandemic going on, and still the growth of the tech startups has not. The education space has seen a lot of funding. Like I think there are more than $1 billion has been got funded by the tech startup. So yeah, the uh, startup ecosystem is like much better than what it was 5 years ago. Or in the next 10 years, I was seeing some reports that we might have 100 unicorn startups by the end of 2030.
That's a big number, huh?
So, but
100,
yeah,
100, yeah.
that's really a good number. That if you see, there will be a lot of jobs in the different segment, from web development to AI ML operations, marketing. A lot of things will emerge, and lot many jobs will be added in the economy.
That's
So exactly, and that's why the education space is most relevant. That you need quality labors and quality skilled talent to fill this gap. Uh,
hmm.
if we would not be able to produce enough talent, these companies will lack talent and they may have to outsource from the other countries. So yeah,
Yeah,
the
but
upskilling would be.
presently, we are outsourcing to almost all the main countries right now. So maybe
Mm.
that will be a
And
weird
having a,
situation for us to pull
yes,
out people
exactly,
from outside.
and
Yeah,
having a population of 1.5 billion people,
yeah.
if we're not able to train few million people on a specific technology, then I think it will be our failure to not do that, because we are one of
Yeah,
the
I had this burning question, seeing the last, few months, like I really follow the defense development a lot. So, like we are not able to make our engine, and, our
Mhm.
programs are getting late, Tejas development is getting late, but we are also doing some really great work, new missiles and everything are coming. But, what do you think, why we lag behind? Like, we have a biggest talent pool in the world. I guess a lot of talented people are in India. From here people go to different countries. Then how come, when we talk about
Mhm.
our own country, we are not even able to develop an engine, or, like we are falling short at a lot of places. And, like, in if we talk about USA in specific, most of these problems have been solved by startups. Like, look today, SpaceX, just a startup, I guess, 20 years back, maybe, yeah, around approx 20 years back. Now they are, helping NASA to send people to space. So how come not in India we are not seeing, startups coming up in that number and, solving these problems? What's your take on this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so I think, like, if you see the startup ecosystem in India, it has grown whatever it has grown in the last 10 years. Flipkart started in 2007 or 8, I guess.
Yeah, props.
Um, and it got an exit in 2019, I think 2018 or 19, not
Mm,
sure about this. So if you see, like, startup ecosystem in India, it looks like it's 10-year old, while in US, it is much more than that. Like, the internet started like 1990, if you can see the companies in US. So yeah, there are a lot of expectation, but still, like, a lot of government policies are required in the space where you're asking that why we do not have any
exactly.
SpaceX company, like, from the India. So the problem is also the outsourcing. Like, if all our talent are not in India. For example, take an example of Sundar Pichai or even Satya Nadella. Why, if they are not in the India, they are not Indian anymore. They are working for some US companies. So if we will not save our talent, then obviously we will end up uh, not producing the quality companies.
Yeah, but, like, what's your take on this? That, this is quite a valid argument. If I get an opportunity to, get double the payment in a foreign country, and then they are providing me, all the resources also, like, and in India I'm not only paid less, but I'm also, not getting resources, and a lot of other issues are there. So I prefer to move there, right? So how we can stop them, or maybe, motivate, more such talented people to stay back in the country and do something different. So what's your point on this?
I think a few government policies required need to be implemented around us. Second is, for example, if someone can people who want to join, you know about the salaries the
I
ISRO
understand.
scientists get. So scientists gets, like, I think it's around 1 lakh or 1.5
Even
lakh, but
even the junior
you
ones even get lesser, I guess. Like the
no, yes, exactly. So these all things, if someone from the IIT or is joining ISRO, how they will be able to cope up with 40 or 45,000 salary. So these all things need to be improved. That's
yeah, that's pretty
And
much,
therefore
yeah.
we'll be
That's
able to
so,
solve
like, this
this
is the,
problem.
like, the government need to step up. They need to take some actions, and as well,
Exactly,
at our
exactly.
end also, guys. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
our own nation, right? We need to do something for it as well, because, I don't know how accurate this is, but I did saw this, quotation on some, I was going through a blog post, like, it's quite back, 1 year back, maybe I saw this. So they said, that, like, people were saying that, hey, you coming here to do development in our country, what about your own country? Just go, why shouldn't you develop that? So maybe we should think about it, give it a second thought. I don't know if we can, because, there are many examples, like, I don't know, I read about a person who was in USA only, which place I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember. He came back to India and started a tea business, and now he's making crores here. So, like,
Exactly.
so he came back in our own nation, and he's doing tea business, and he's making good money. So maybe we need more people like him to, make that happen. So let's move to the next question with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so here we have, like, when we talk about startups, right? We think about,
Mhm.
that, when, like, if I'm starting a startup today, then when it will be a unicorn, because everyone is running to be a unicorn. That's the main idea. That's
Okay.
the main thing going on, right? Like, this unicorn word is like, like I used to associate with a horse with a, horn, but today I associate with just Paytm. That's something that comes in my mind if I talk about unicorn. So, what do you think
Okay.
about this? Is there a, any specific path that I can follow to be a unicorn, or some things I can do to be a unicorn, or it's just a matter of luck? What do you think?
I might not be the relevant person to say that that's the path to become an unicorn, else I would have followed that. So what? But like, I would just like to give some general my view on what it takes to be an unicorn, or maybe like what's the general yeah, matlab, things around that.
Yeah.
So to become an unicorn, you need just a moment, Ankit.
Okay. No issues. Yeah. 1 minute, man. I'm just sending you live. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. We are back now. Yeah. Yeah. You can continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where were we?
Like you were talking
Okay,
about,
unicorn.
unicorns.
We're
Yeah.
talking about the unicorn.
Yeah.
So the thing is that you need a lot of luck to to become a unicorn. Like it's like that you need to have a right idea at the right time, and it's not just about right idea, right time. You need right
So it's a
team.
combination of luck and efforts, maybe.
Exactly. You need a lot of luck around this. You need right team with right investors, like right partners. Let's take an example of companies like Unacademy, maybe,
Yeah,
or
that's great.
Paytms. Like Unacademy, in the pandemic year, they have grown by like 200, 300% because
That's
um,
a big number.
they have the infrastructure, they have everything, but their growth was not like the what it should be. And the pandemic, everything gone online, the education space exploded, and they got the opportunity to scale their infrastructure. They had everything they wanted, they had the team, they had the investors, they had money. So what they did is that they just expanded their audience segment. So obviously, like they responded much better than any other company in the space, and they outgrew everyone. Again with the Paytm, if you see, like during the demonetization time, I am not sure that when Paytm, like I forget, maybe that when Paytm become the unicorn, but uh,
I guess
during the
it was
when
around
the
2000, around that, that phase of note bandi we had. I guess around
yes,
that time it became a unicorn.
2014.
14 or 15 up, something
Yes,
somewhere there. Yeah.
correct. So during that time, during the demonetization, the first ad I saw in the morning at 8 a.m. was of the Paytm that we are like we have a their advertisement about the wallet system that you can do the transactions. So that's the step. Like they had the everything they wanted. They had the infrastructure to scale. They had the team. They had the money, and they scaled their infrastructure to the audience segment, like their market demand.
So the
And
main idea here is, that I need to be spot on. Like, I have to do the right things at
exactly,
the right
we need
time.
to be at the right time. Exactly, we need to be at the right time with your right idea, whatever you are doing. uh, yeah. For
Definitely.
example, if Unacademy or Paytm did not have an infrastructure at the time their demonetization happened, it could not be what it is today.
Exactly. That's really a big thing. Like, you can do something, you need to scale
Yes.
also, and that too
But
at the
obviously,
right
there are
time.
a lot of exceptions. Like there are a lot of exception. I just gave two examples, so it's not like that. Yeah.
No, we can even talk about Tesla, right? Like they went into sometime they had some issues with their production line, I guess, and they were struggling to just push out cars out of their factories to meet the demands. But they find like they were losing a lot of
Exactly.
dollars for that as well. So, but they finally came out. So, I guess these are some of the hustles that one need to take care of when you are getting into complicated things like startup, I guess. Yeah, rather, yeah, like, before I get to the next question, what do you think? Should we keep startups in a complicated categories, like we should say they are rocket science, or maybe we should keep them in the other way around, that if you do things correctly, you can make it happen? What do you feel?
Uh, I didn't get your question. Can you repeat?
Yeah, what I meant was that, let's say startups, right? If I want to do a startup,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
is it very hard? Like it's something like I have to do a lot of things to, like like it's very complicated, or it's very simple. I just need to do things, correct things at the right time, and that's the main idea behind it. Like
The second one obviously is very easy to get started, and I think that's should be the way to get started. Like if you have massive funding already, then for example the problem like deep take problems, for example sending some satellite to moon or something, like you cannot just get started. You think that I want to do this thing and you can get started. You need a lot of funds, and you need a team, you need technology, you need a lot of research. Maybe you will take 1 to 2 years for that. So these kind of problems require funding. So if you think that you don't have any fund and you just want to do something in the and want to get started, so the best way is that find something that do not skills, like as Paul Graham said, and you can solve it for the first 10 customers, then try to scale it for first 100 and then 1000. So that can be the standard way. But if you're solving for the like problems like what Tesla, SpaceX, all these companies did, obviously it's gonna take a lot of money. Even if you take the example of Elon Musk, like first he invested the money from exit. He got an exit from the first company, then invested to second, third, fourth. It's like that. So
so like
yeah.
we can say that we have this term depends, right? We can say it depends, right, based on the
Hmm.
idea, situation, and where you are, and a lot of factors. Okay, that's
Exactly,
so like
exactly.
we have to see where we are. It's what we are trying to
Hmm.
solve. Yeah. So that's
Hmm.
great. Let's move to the next question. So the next question is, let's talk about those who are graduating. Like I'm just completing my bachelor's or master's even, and like after that, we have this thing in our mind, like we always think this, that we should get a job. That's the main idea that everyone follows. At least in our country, we have this kind of a culture there, that after completing your graduation, you need to get a job. So at that point
Hmm.
of time, do you think that people can think about that instead of starting a job, they can get into startups? Maybe not starting a startup, but maybe get a job into startup or something. What do you suggest? That
Okay.
I'm just graduating,
Okay.
and what should I do? Maybe I just get into a startup or a job.
Interesting, interesting. So I have cracked like two, three startup jobs in startups. So I think I might be the relevant person to answer this question. So yeah, so to get a job in startups, you need skills that the startup require. For example, if you let's take an example of tech. If you want to be uh, a software developer in any tech startup or any startup, early startup, you have to know the skills uh, that are required. One of the common technology startups use these days is web development, because everyone has a web platform. Like everyone needs a website, right?
Hmm,
So
definitely.
most of the companies these days need websites. So that's why the web development thing is very common. Like even if you are building a machine learning thing, so you need some kind of web front end to show the outputs of your machine learning deployments, or machine learning, the output you're getting from the machine learning models. So web development is one of the best right now technology you can learn to get a job in startups. Talking about the good and the bad aspects, like and what they can follow to get a job. Like
Hmm.
um, you can learn those skills. Like you should know how to create an end-to-end website. It's not like if you learn HTML CSS and then you think that I can get a job in startup. It won't be like that.
Okay.
So try to build something, and the best way can be try to clone the existing website. Like maybe you can clone Twitter, you can clone Medium, you can try to clone the looks of the WhatsApp. So that way, that can be the best way to learn. uh, I think that can be long, very very long topic,
No, I
but
get it.
this is the crisp of uh, what you should do to get a job in startups. While in MNCs, it's very different. Like how you get a job in MNCs. Talking about, like, I'm not talking about the companies of like Infosys, TCS. For example, if you want to get a job in Amazon, Microsoft, you need to work on your competitive programming skills like data structures and algorithm, because those company do not much ask about your development skills, because they ask about the problem solving skills, and that way it is different. While in startups they ask about the practical skills, like whether you can develop this software or not. Like if you can develop, like, do it. You can develop my own my website. Yeah.
Yeah, so like like it's kind of two-way stream. Like if I go for startups, I should know the practical
Mm-hmm.
knowledge at hand, and if I go for
Yes.
top MNC companies, we can say the
You need
like the
problem
Google and
solving
the AMCs, these
skills.
guys. So like for them, I need to keep my analytical skills better. Like they want that.
Exactly.
That could be
Exactly.
the idea. So yeah, that could be the idea behind it. So like if you are it could be anything. If you are planning to get into these big companies, go ahead, fix your
Mm-hmm.
analytical skills. And if you want to be in the startup, okay, but you have experienced both of them. Like you have gone through
Mm-hmm.
the interviews, etc. Is there any difference in the interview pattern? Like if I'm being interviewed by a startup, is what kind of things I might be asked in startup, and like what kind of things I can
Mm-hmm.
expect in a normal MNC company, maybe like Amazon or Google, or maybe even these mass recruiters like Infosys, TCS.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of things we can be asked, and what is the difference
Okay.
between both? Yeah.
So mass recruiters companies, uh, as per my experience, they don't ask anything. Like I have sat in the placement while in college, so you don't need any development skills or project development skills to get
You
into
need a
those
good English, I
companies.
guess, right? That
So
was
I
the
will
factor I
mostly talk
remember.
about the startup interview process. Like I said, that if you can get a job, if you can build things, like if you know how to build a clone of a certain websites, like if you can build a software particular website or on any technology, then you're good to go. So now let me tell you about the interview process. The first can be like a simple HR round, then the HR will send you a assignment. The assignment will be simply some making a clone of some websites, or whatever the PRD, like, document is given. You have to follow the document to solve a particular problem, and that problem is basically building some website. Like I'm talking about all about the web development and the software development in general. So you have to solve a software. You have to solve an assignment. If you're if you pass this round, like if you're able to solve this assignment, then you will get a call with the tech person in the company. You will face to face you will face some face to face questions, and there they will ask you some questions related to what you did in the project and how you approached the problem, how you solved it, and that's it, man. Like, yeah.
That's it. That makes sense. Yeah, like if you're going for a startup, you should be be prepared to be like doing multiple things at a
Yes,
time, because a company is
technical
small.
skills
And
should be better.
yeah, like
Exactly.
so like you get a better learning experience at being a startup, right? I guess.
Yes, obviously. Like I think 3 months of a startups uh is equals to the 1 year in some MNC companies. Like not talking about the Microsoft, Google here, but most of the MNCs companies.
Yeah, that's pretty
So that's
interesting.
the learning curve is very very high. I think in the startups, because the things moves very fast in the early stage companies. That's the way you learn things. You see a lot of things happening in a very less time.
That's great. Yeah. So let's move to our next question. Yeah, like like when you're starting a company, right? So when I'm starting a company, I should know that when should I start. But it's equally valid that when should I pack up the company. Maybe it's time to pack up. Like when one should decide that that yeah, today I should pack up, or maybe this is not time yet. So yeah, that is very quite a big question people have, that my company is running not doing good for a very long, but people say that you should keep trying, someday that golden day will come. But so what is the best time to give up, and what is when it is not, like how one should know that if it's time or not? Yeah.
Okay. Mm, I think, like, there is nothing sort of giving up like in entrepreneurship or failures. Like uh, if you have learned from the mistakes, you will come back stronger. But like you said about when should we close the startup, but so the question that if you're not able to fund your company, and if you think that you have not achieved any product market fit, so that's the time you have to quit. Like you have no option left. You are not able to raise funds and you have no money to go ahead. So obviously, like, there is no way around. uh, you have to quit, man. Yeah. You have to get started, do something else.
So like
I
it's
don't.
yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
better to it's like it's better sometimes that stop what you're doing right now and do something some other thing that
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
better.
yeah, exactly. Validate the thing you are working on, whether the thing is scalable or not, whether you are able to validate, talk to the people in the industry that whether you will be able to scale this thing or not. There might be some short-term failures, but do not let that short-term failures like.
Like
For
overpower your
example,
current.
if you're not achieved a product market fit, and if you have not achieved product market fit and you don't have any enough funds left, so you have to quit. There is no option left now, so you have to quit. uh, in other case, if you have a good product, you have everything working, and you don't have any money left in the bank, and you're thinking that maybe I should quit, we don't have enough funds, how will we go away? So you can try raising funds in that time and talk to the people in the industry and talk to the mentors and see that how things can go on from here, because you have a good product and you think that this we have achieved product market fit, basically something that people need, and you have made that product. So maybe you can try to raise funds, but if you're not able to raise funds, then uh, yeah,
Then
there are
automatically it
no way
happens.
around. Yes, obviously there are no way around.
Yeah, so maybe it might be something that depends, your situation
Yes,
that.
exactly. Yes, depends on the situation where you are.
Yeah, so like sometimes it's like my idea that that if I have a strong
Mm-hmm.
feeling that maybe today it's not working, but I know that 5 years after, like even this, like I'm doing a lot of things in machine learning, so like
Mm-hmm.
10 or 15 years back we were not having such good hardwares to make machine learning possible like it is today, but like
Mm-hmm.
after 10 or 15 years from that time, now today we can see that machine learning is the biggest thing that's happening right now. So yeah, I guess vision is quite critical. You should know what you're doing, and you should also know that how it's going to impact, and if it's going to impact today or tomorrow, and accordingly plan. So that's really a good thing that you should keep in mind. So yeah, with that we come to the last question of our session today. So that is
Mm-hmm.
like we look like we hear this a lot, that that startups feed on disruption. Like you need to do disruption to keep going, because startups cannot do simply start doing what others are doing or what big companies are doing and expect to beat them. They need to just take a leap and try to beat them at, like, either at technology or service. So what's your idea on this? Like, you are a startup right now and you have
Mm-hmm.
some really big competitors out there, and how you plan to take them on? Yeah, what's the idea behind
Mm-hmm.
it?
Okay. So yeah, obviously startups feeds on disruption. There is no doubt in that. Like if you're trying to scale, whoever will be able to get the things first, and like I'm talking about, if you companies who have scaled to 10,000 customers, maybe 100,000 customers, and they're trying to reach to the 1 million customers. So whoever have the better strategy, and whoever is able to reach out to the and able to basically adapt to the market well, obviously will win. But in talking about the initial stage, like going from 0 to 1, maybe in that stage, I think you don't need lot of disruption. In the most cases, you should follow things which have been already done by the most companies. Like that can be the safest way. Matlab, this is what I recommend. Or because uh, but while scaling, disruption would be required, because you have competitors out there who are at the same scale, and in that phase, you need certain like uh, basically adapt to the market, whatever the market is.
So
Let,
so you
let's
need
take an
certain
example of
highlights, I guess,
let's
right?
take an example of
Yeah.
Kodak. I think Kodak was selling camera
Yeah.
at the point of like, and it was one of the most famous company in 1990s. But after that, the iPhone came and smartphone came, it got disappeared. Like if that time the Kodak had started, or maybe take an example of the Nokia, like how one of the biggest mobile manufacturer company got disappeared from the market. So that's the example of the how, like if you are not able to disrupt, you will be get out from the space. You will be get out from the market.
So that's really great. Like you know like innovation is the key thing maybe, because those are who are big guys
Mm-hmm.
even today. They need to think also that they should keep on innovating, because you know you never know when you can, because as Deepak suggested, gave some really good examples about Nokia, but even we can talk about Tesla, like 10 years back what they were,
Exactly.
nothing. And like today I guess they are the most valued car company, I guess. They were able to get it in 2019, I guess. So
Yes,
so
they
that is
have a
the
valuation of $650 billion, I think. That's combined the total valuation of all the most of the leading automobiles companies.
Yeah, so that's how it goes. They kept on innovating. So maybe we can say so that it feeds on disruption. So yeah, with that, we can come to the end of our this session, and I really enjoyed carrying it out forward with you all. So before we end, let's quickly go to Deepak, and let's have his like if he has something to say. So maybe Deepak, if you had want to share something with the people who may be watching you maybe live, or maybe after during the replays. So you want to give any advice to those young entrepreneurs who want to also get into startups, and are confused right now that what is the right time to do it.
Okay, so I think if you have an idea and if you want to pursue it, you should try it out. Like you should not think more about it. You should try it out. Even if you're working in job, don't quit your job right away. Try to work on the weekends or try to work after 5 to 9. Like basically, uh, mm, after your job, but try it out. Like it will be worth it. Like that's the thing. Because I think earning money will not keep you like happy for a long time. Maybe you are graduating and you are getting your first job, and but for the next 5-10 years, maybe money will be keep you happy and give you some satisfaction that I am getting whatever the comfort I should have in my life. But at the end, like if you are doing something that you want to do is going to be valuable. So yeah, that's what I am trying to do. I'm not like, it's not like that my startup is very successful. We are working. I am struggling also. So yeah, you should do it anyway.
Yeah,
Try it out. Do not give up.
definitely. Those things
Even
are
if you give
the
up,
key.
like come back stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Those things are the key points. Not to give up and keep going. So yeah, that's really great. Advice from Deepak, and with that we come to the end of this live session. I really enjoyed carrying out this session with Deepak, and definitely for you all. And I'll really request you all, if you all really like it, do like and subscribe, and also give comments or feedbacks that what do you expect in the next sessions, and if there are a few things that we can improve, because learning is a lifelong activity and it goes on always. So definitely do that. So I'll meet you in the next session. So till then, guys, thanks for joining, and again Deepak, thanks for coming and sharing so such great experience with all of us.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks.